between, the two of us plus a team member or two that might be on the project, that we have that collaborative effort. And then from there, once it goes into DD, there's sort of a principal in charge of that project, and that's where sort of the division happens. And we sort of divide and conquer that way.
And even then, we're always available, and always we make sure, Justin and I sit down once a week and make sure that we're abreast of all the information for each project of kind of critical elements, so that if one of us weren't to be available and the client were to call in or phone, 9 times out of 10 we're able to give a fairly informed response.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also the studio design as well. There's 5 of us that sit at one long desk that's 4 feet wide by 16 feet long. So it's just the nature. You're going to know kind of everything. Even if you are working on separate things, you're going to know what's going on with everybody else. Really collaborative environment.
Yeah, but I think that also helps you guys build that trust with the residential clients, that this could be a very scary process. And then if Mike's on vacation, if you call them, Justin, it's not like, well, who's this other person? I haven't talked to you before. What do you even know about my house?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I mean, kudos to the team we have in the studio that we've trusted them to have conversations with clients, and sometimes they'll just call whoever that project manager is, or we feel comfortable with our team reaching out to the client, and that's really great as well, because then that allows us to do other things within the practice, to have those team members that we can trust to have the most important conversations with the client. Sometimes is really, really helpful if we're away or we're doing something else. So
yeah, I mean, it's been good in terms of the fact that as we've transitioned from NVK to Hype, there's been a natural progression in terms of the scale of our projects, and having carried that team through from from MVK to Hype, they've kind of moved from doing 1,000 square foot remodels and additions to I think our biggest monster right now is 22,000 square feet residence, and just because of that natural kind of that slow growth in terms of the scale of those homes, it's been an education for them. So they're more than capable of dealing with projects that are at that scale that I think perhaps a lot of their peers at a similar stage would be left a little kind of terrified of.
yeah, and since you're all local, I'm sure they're on site all the time to at least see that construction, because you guys talk so much about your construction knowledge. I know when I started, I was on site all the time, and I saw my knowledge base compared to peers that weren't on site all the time at a completely different level.
100%, and we made sure that as we started doing a little bit more construction management, that we were allocating. It wasn't just Justin and I. I mean, education just in general is important to us within the studio. If there's something that one of our guys is unfamiliar with, then we make sure we take the time to walk it through and to explain what our rationale is behind things. And to the same extent, we'll have one or two of the guys involved with each construction project, and we go through that same process of, this is what we're going to do, this is why we're going to do it. We try not to throw them in at the deep end in a way where they're kind of fighting for their lives, but there's a little bit of kind of just giving them a lot of responsibility.
And to know that they have a lot of responsibility. There's a team behind them, or there's principals behind them that are there for support.
Yeah.
And we're not just telling them what needs to be done. We're asking them to be creative, or to talk with a sub, to talk with a metal fabricator about the details and what the design intent is. And if they do need help, that we're obviously right here, but it's an opportunity for them to learn and grow. And I think the team has grown dramatically through the construction projects that we've overseen. And
Yeah. Do you have any advice for someone looking to focus on high-end residential?
Yeah. No.
Get a shrink.
Get a shrink
I
for your
think,
clients and a shrink for you.
Probably one for each, just not the same one.
Yeah.
I think um, I think it boils down to growing your network and growing your portfolio. I think getting out of the architecture field, out of the field from like a networking standpoint, and meeting people that are outside of that are in, related industries or unrelated industries. I think we've only ever had 2 clients that were architects, and so it's like those aren't going to be your clients. Those aren't going to be the people that refer you, and so we make it a point to meet with developers and general contractors and people in real estate and then just out and about casually in life, whether it's, on the weekend at coffee or, during the week at the gym or, wherever it is that we're meeting people and growing the network there. And that way I think is really important because I think you come out of school and you spent this really focused time with other architects or other designers and that, and then you go work at a firm where that's what they all are as well. And I think if you let that be your experience, then you're missing out on, just so much education and growth that's out there that's beyond the realm of architecture that can feed back to it in all kinds of ways, whether it's education or clients, and so and then building a portfolio, when I started out, we were doing small remodels, small additions, but with each one came an opportunity to either, do well for a client that would lead to something else or a design opportunity, where it said, hey, we want something really cool here, really modern, or really something very thoughtful. And so, within each project, there's an opportunity to learn from that. Sometimes it's design, sometimes it's business, sometimes it's all planting the seed for what the future may become.
Yeah, I think early on, in the beginning, during the first year, I think we had about 25 projects going at any given time, and that was a lot. They were small projects, and now we have larger projects and maybe about 12. But I think there's sowing seeds for the future. One of our large homes that's under construction now, I think if we were to give a proposal for that job now, it would probably be about 5 times the price. But at the time, there was a business decision that was made and a realization that we did the job for somewhat of a bargain, but as a portfolio piece, it would definitely kind of pay itself forward. And I wouldn't recommend undervaluing yourself at any time, but it was a business decision in order to kind of create portfolio, perhaps more in the luxury realm of architecture.
Yeah, but that's important to talk about value because I find sometimes the solo entrepreneurs that I talk to have a hard time finding where their value is because they don't want to lose the project. So then they try pulling themselves back so then they seem more affordable. Or even on the commercial side, I see fees stay pretty low and I'm like, why? This is going to take so much, or learn from your prior projects so then you can get that fee adjusted to where it needs to be.
I think over the course, we've made a conscious decision to kind of grow our fee annually. And I think it's representative of, it is the value that we bring to any project. We've spent a long time getting to the stage where we can offer our clients the expertise that we carry. We've got a great team behind us. And there's just value in that. We're not overcharging anyone. We're just getting the fair value for the services that we provide.
And I think that gets back to the sort of the education that we do with clients at the beginning of a project. We present them with a proposal that breaks down the process, that breaks down, what consultants are going to be a part of the project, what their fee might be, even though we might not have a design yet. But
the big one in that, I think, is also deliverables. So they see like, hey, at the end of each part of it, we're giving you all this.
Yeah, these are all the meetings that we'll have. These are all the iterations that we'll do, and really showing that whole, in a perfect world, one of our projects might take 6 to 7 months in design, and just forecasting that for them, and then they can see that, oh, holy cow, there's value to all of these meetings, to all of these updates, to things like that, and a lot of times our projects go beyond that, right? Projects that could be in design for a year, 2 years, and we don't ever like to do, add services or change orders for our scope of work. We felt like we tried to outline as much as possible in the beginning and give opportunities for updates. But so, sometimes things go long, sometimes projects go dormant, and so just to be able to have, really frank conversations with our clients at the beginning of the value that they're getting, the amount of work that it's going to take to get them to a project, to construction, and then that's almost the easy part, right? After that, it's you have to build it and deal with all the nuances of a remodel or a new build, or all of those things that come at that, right? Because there's one thing of drawing it, there's the other thing of building it, and
we also, one of the things we also try and give our clients responsibility in the beginning as well, and understand that they have accountability in the schedule, that we kind of agree with them, or we'll talk to them about, okay, if we're giving you a set of drawings on a Friday, is it something that you're going to look at over the weekend and get back to us on a Monday? Do you need 1 week, 2 weeks? How long does it take you to digest and respond? And we'll set a schedule around that. And that's where, when things, if there's iterations beyond the early agreement, it's something that we've had really frank discussions early on. So if things go outside of that, then we can then go back and talk to them and say, look, this is actually starting to have a financial impact on our studio, and it's not because of things that we've been doing. It's actually, it kind of lies at your feet, and that it makes those conversations where you have to say to people, like, we kind of need to adjust our fee on. It makes it so much easier because you've set those parameters early on.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to remind somebody of a conversation rather than like, hey, just so you know, you only had these so many days to look at it. We sent it to you on a Monday. Sorry, you work all week.
Yeah, and those are huge implications on the schedule, right? If a client says yes, you send us, we have a meeting on Thursday or Friday, we'll have answers to you by Monday, as opposed to somebody is like, well, we need a week. Well, when you take that out, when you put that times 10, 12 meetings over the course of a project, there's an added 3 months to the schedule, but then in their minds they're like, well, you told us it would take 6 months, and it was like, yeah, well, there's factors, there's things that can change that, and we have to be cognizant of that.
Yeah. Do you find you have to do a lot of how to read drawing teaching in the beginning?
I think it's not in the beginning. I think throughout the whole project, I think we're trying to try and understand how our clients best see their project, and for us, there's a multitude of mediums that we can use where we can understand it. And so, in the studio, we do drawings, we do sketches, we do renderings. We actually have a 3D printer in our studio that we will print models. We have Oculus, where we'll do augmented reality to put people into their homes. So it's like every project is different, and the way they see and understand their project is different. And so I think we've tried to surround ourselves with tools that explain the project to whatever best suits a client. It's never just like, hey, we're gonna explain our project through watercolor. I hope you get it.
Check out the full discussion from this bite of advice here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on more mentorDINO content.